Hi everyone, it's me. I want to talk about how to find out if you're with someone who is going to be an absolute um, positive addition to your life. And I'm talking about relationships. And this is something that I am and I expect of other people in my life. I'm a considerate person. And that being and someone comes to my home, I want them to be comfortable. So they have a seat here and, I make sure the house is clean before they come over. And most important, just sit down and be comfortable. And can I get you something to drink? I want you to be at ease when you're with me. And, I have a lot of animals. And if someone's afraid of dogs, I can put my dogs in the bedroom while that person's there. And so I want to talk about how I knew my husband was going to be a good partner for me. And we met 2.5 years ago, and I felt at ease with him, and I felt like I was at home, like I was talking to an old friend. And it ends up we knew the same people. My sister had been friends with his sister, etc. He's 5 years younger though, so we wouldn't have met, in high school or anything. And then I joined the military and left, so that was that. But when I I first spent the night at his house, it was after we met and after he met my family, etc. I had higher goals, and slept over. And he was a bachelor. He lived in the house alone with his son, and he didn't require anything. He has the same t-shirts from 30 years ago, etc. And he's just a really easygoing and simple guy. He doesn't really need anything. Really, as I always say, do you want this? And he's like, well, I don't need it. So he said, I don't need that kind of thing. And his walls, he didn't have pictures on the walls. And the bed he had was, I always say, it's a 30-year-old bed that his mom gave him. And she's always giving people things. She's such a nice person. And so his bed was about 30 years old. And he had slept in it for so long in the middle that the two of us, it was only queen size that the bed sunk in the middle. And you're like, well, both of you are kind of angled towards the middle of the bed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to hang on to the edge of the bed just so I can stay up and have some space. And I couldn't sleep in it because I had a pedic type bed. I'm not going to say what kind of bed it is, but it was a blank pedic bed and very comfortable. It was a, pillow top, and you sink right in when you get into it, and it just fit my body. But his bed, no. And so I tried, and I was single by myself, so I didn't mind going home and sleeping in my bed. But he had, the dogs and his son, and so I said, I can't sleep here. I just can't sleep. And so he needed a new bed anyway. So we went and shopped for another bed because we knew we were going to be together. We just kind of knew. So he thought about me and he considered me, and we went bed shopping, and we found a bed that was adequate for both of us and king size. And so that was wonderful. But another thing is because I had been single for so long and I had never really owned a lot of pets. He had the two dogs and they slept with him every night. But the dogs are, the one is a puggle, so he's fine. But the lab is a good sized lab, and she moves a lot. And so there was no room in the bed for all of us. And so I said, I really can't sleep with the dogs. And so, and like I said, you can't sacrifice your sleep. You just can't. If they have a really small dog that stays on their side of the bed on the opposite side, that's one thing. I couldn't sleep with anyone that had cats either. It's just, you need your sleep. I was 50 years old. I needed some sleep, and I wanted to sleep alone with my husband. And so I said, I just can't. And so he considered me over the dogs. Not that he doesn't love the dogs, but the chain of command here, and so he trained the dogs to sleep in the living room, and the first couple of nights were rough, and they were barking and barking, and he was able to get bark collars, and we have their own beds for them, and they have a big space, and so and they sleep together normally in the same bed. They're kind of cute. And then when my stepson is home, they sleep with him. He's a dog person. At his mom's house, he has 5 dogs or something like that. So he's a dog person. He doesn't care. He likes it, I think. And so my husband then would train them to sleep outside the bedroom and with my stepson, and now they sleep alone all night. And then once in a while, they jump up with us and we hang out. And they slept with us maybe a couple of times, and normally they're in the living room and they're just fine. And so he was considerate, and I'm not trying to be mean or a bully, and I understand people love their dogs, and that's fine, but this is about us both being able to get a good night's sleep. And the fact that he does value there is a chain of command in our home, and it's people and their dogs, and dogs, he doesn't consider them family. We love our dogs, but they're our pets, and we love them, and we hang out with them, and they're very well taken care of. But we have a variety of pets in our home, and I have two birds, and they're our pets. And so I just want to say it's important, it, for anyone to be in a relationship. If you're a considerate person, those are the types of things you have to consider. Is number one, you have to be honest about your discomforts, and the fact that your quality of living is not the same as when you're home by yourself. My sleep was not as good as when I was in my house, and I wanted to sleep with him, but I could not get a good night's sleep unless we had a mattress that fit the two of us and we were sleeping alone. So he gets up at 4 in the morning, so he really needs his sleep. So he really enjoys now. My husband really takes into consideration that he can't sleep with the dogs anymore. When he's going to bed at 8 and getting up at 4, he needs his sleep because he has a really tough job. So that's what I wanted to talk about, is he was so considerate of me. I was not mean about it. I wasn't a bully. I just said I am unable to sleep here. Unfortunately, if first of all, the mattress, we have to have a mattress that's comfortable, and second of all, we have to sleep alone. And so he took that into consideration, and really he wanted me there, and he let me know he wanted me there. And we've gone through things along the way, and life, we've made adjustments. I made adjustments too. I became a wife and a stepmom, and been compared to just being someone who's single. So then I had to take into consideration him, his son, the dogs, and the other animals we have. So I've made adjustments too. So it hasn't been just him, but it worked out. And so that's something to talk about with the person you're with. If you're in their home and something makes you uncomfortable, that's something you have to consider, is, can you be honest with them about your needs in order to get a good night's sleep, in order to feel comfortable sitting in the house, a level of cleanliness, things like that. Just talk to them about it. And if they're not willing to take your feelings of normal feelings into consideration, then it's probably not the person for you. So that's all I wanted to talk about. I hope you all have a good day, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.